Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Game Day here at Heavy Cardboard. Teach, play, and discuss medium and heavy strategy board games, War Games 18XX. I'm your host, Edward Euler. Happy to be joined by a couple familiar faces and good friends.
Trey.
And Martin.
All right, tonight we are busting out New Frontiers, designed by Tom Lehman and published by Rio Grande Games. So what is New Frontiers, you might be asking? It's Puerto Rico, the card game,
In space!
the board game. Because there was Puerto Rico, then San Juan, then Race for the Galaxy, and now this is essentially Race for the Galaxy, the board game. I think that's a pretty fair description of it. Now, Rio Grande also sponsored the playthrough, so certainly thanks to Ken and everybody over at Rio Grande for doing so, as well as providing us with the review copy. Now, there is an expansion in works from Tom Lehman. That'll be coming. I have it on good authority. It is scheduled for 2022. See how that works out, because COVID, right? Yeah, thanks everybody joining us live around the world as well as after the fact. Tonight's game is going to go quicker than you anticipate it to go, or at least every time I've ever played this game, it's faster than I want it to be, and then I realize, oh, it was only getting worse for me because one of those two is going to win tonight. I'm terrible at race, I'm terrible at this game, but I really enjoy it. And both of y'all have played. How many games of race have y'all played, would you say? Hundreds?
Well, digitally or in person? Yeah.
Period.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
in person quite a few, but
Okay.
digitally,
Thousands?
yeah.
Maybe.
Tens for me. I don't think I've gotten to the hundreds even digitally.
Really?
And personally, maybe not even, I mean, maybe not, no, probably more than 10, probably something like around 20. 'Cause Cindy doesn't like Race of the Galaxy at all.
Really? Okay.
So we don't play it very much. I mean, I've played it on the app, and it's quite nice on BGA. So I played it a fair bit during the closed-in times with my friends, particularly in Germany,
Okay.
who are much better at it than I am.
Moral of the story is, now Martin, you've only played this, what, twice?
Yeah.
I think? I've played it, I think, 4 or 5. You've played it,
maybe 10.
yeah. So while we're experienced-ish with this, y'all two are very experienced in Race, which is essentially what this game is, but in board game form. So there's that. All right, moral of the story, it's going to go quicker than you think it should. It's not as quick as Race, but for a board game, it certainly is quick. So I'm going to do a full teach. I'm going to take the cameras and chat down and then run through it. I'm going to gloss over some of the details and just kind of give a big picture thing as far and go through the different actions in detail, but not going to go through every single type of world that's out there because, well, as we get to it, I think that'll make the most sense. So we're ready here. Y'all ready? Here we go. Let me go ahead, like I said, bring down the chat and the cameras, and here we go. So the setting or the theme, if you will. After the invention of jump drive, every colony could expand to new worlds and dream of empire. In New Frontiers, players build space empires by developing technologies, exploring and settling worlds, producing goods, and trading these goods for credits or victory points, credits being money. Can you build the most successful galactic empire? I appreciate that short, to the point, tells you what you're doing, and we can dispense with any elaborate look. The goal of the game is victory points. Victory points are represented by these markers over here. There are a finite amount of those. That is going to be the trigger, one of the triggers for the end of the game. So before I talk about what it is you're looking at over here, let's go ahead and talk about how the game ends. The game can end one of 4 ways. On our player mats, we have spots for 12 developments. Once 10 of these are filled, and then one of the 2 red ones are filled, that's going to be one of the triggers for the end of the game. In addition to that, when one player has 7 or more colonies, colonies are going to be the worlds that go out here into our player areas. When one player has colonized or turned them over to their in color side, 7 of those. Or if the colonists, there are 36 colonists in a 3-player game. When less than 5 of those remain in the supply there, that triggers. Or when all 36 victory points in a 3-player game have been gotten by the players, that's also one of the triggers for the end of the game. So that said, I think the best way to teach it is to go through the actions, which will then talk about everything that you're looking at out here. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. It's an action selection game at its core. And what I mean by that is there are 7 actions that a player can choose on their turn. Everybody will take their turn choosing in turn order. So we'll randomize this before we get started there. But if the order were as you see it, yellow followed by blue followed by purple. The majority of these actions, whoever is the active player will choose one of these 7 actions. They will then get a bonus as shown in the bonus area on the tile. And then if there is more information on there, another action, every player in turn order will then carry out those actions going in turn order on the player track. So if you take a look at the player order track, on the first action, I would choose, then Martin would get to do whatever it is, and then Shrey would. Then that's my turn. Then Martin would get to do it being blue. Here, he would choose, do the action, then Shrey would, then I would, and then finally Shrey would choose an action, get to do it, then I would, and then finally Martin would get to. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so now that we have the picking order clarified, let's go through what the actions are. We're going to start with these 2 because these are the 2 simple ones. Send diplomatic envoys. This is just gain top priority, i.e. you immediately become first player. So if, say, Shrey were to choose that, he would then become the first player immediately, boom, done, and he would score 1 victory point. That is the symbol for victory point there. Easy enough. When somebody chooses it, we're going to move it down like so to show that that's been chosen this round. Nobody else can choose that action. All right, done. The retreat into isolation. Whoever chooses it will get 2 credits or $2. It's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other and nothing else. So whoever chooses that, boom, done. Easy enough. However, these 5 are the core actions, and the order in which we have them laid out here are actually the best way to go about explaining how the game works. So the first one here is develop. Out here we have 2 sets of development tiles. We have the small development tiles and the large development tiles. Now, these small development tiles actually have 2 different sides on them. We are playing, this is the first time we've streamed it, we're playing with the basic side on all of these, okay? And because it's a 3-player game, there are 2 of each of these. Each of these development tiles has the name of what the development tile is on it. You are never allowed to have more than 1 of the same name development tile on your player board. The cost to take the development tile is what's in the diamond. So you'll notice it ranges from 1 down to 5, okay? In addition to that, the number of victory points that are shown that you will get at the end of the game is shown in the hex in the top left corner. Easy enough on that. And finally, it has the main reason you're taking it, which is whatever the special ability is or the rule breaker down at the bottom. In addition, it has an iconography for the rule breaker as well as written out in text. Some of these, the majority of these, will come into play when a particular action is chosen. So when you take the settle action, when you take the explore action, when you take the trade and consume action, etc., etc., that's when these things will trigger. I think that pretty much makes the most sense. Now, as I mentioned, there are small developments. You are allowed to buy any one of these. The large developments, in any given time, you're allowed to buy one of these. The cost of these is going to be 9 credits, as you can see. These are double-sided. These we did randomize as far as what side is going to be face up. Same thing. Cost 9, variable amount of victory points based on whatever the special rule breaker is up there or whatever it's going to be scoring there. And then the rule breaker down here at the bottom. But you'll notice that these take up 2 spots. So over here, if you were to take one, that's going to take up 2 spots, whereas the other developments are going to take 1. When you place a development, the location on your player board does not matter. You can place it anywhere except not these 2 until all the others have been filled. If you need to rearrange some stuff, you can freely, easy enough. All right? Now, the bonus for the development tile is whoever chooses this you pay 1 less credit or 1 less buck, down to a minimum of 0. So if you choose a 1 cost development, it's free for you. Easy enough. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on. The next one is exploring. Well, if you take a look over here at my player board, we have a couple of worlds already out here. And those worlds, there are 2 sides. There's kind of a grayscale, for the most part, grayscale side, and then on the other side is the in color side, all right? So on the explore action, when you take this action, it says you're going to draw 7 worlds from the bag. Here, we'll go ahead and lay those out, but you draw 7 and pick 1. The bonus is whoever chooses this, everybody gets to pick 1, so whoever takes the action picks 1 of the 7. The other players each then in turn order will take 1, and then to double back, after all the other players have chosen, you get to pick a second one. All right? Then anything that's not picked goes back into the bag here. So what happens is you will start on the right side of your board and place on the grayscale side moving out. So if I've already acquired these, I will put the new one that I acquire right there. If I get a 5th one, I will put it right there and continue working my way around. If all of these are full, you have to get rid of one of your unexplored, i.e. grayscale side world, throw it back into the bag, and then you get to place your new one out there. Easy enough? All right, any questions on exploring?
Nope.
Okay, that's how you get these tiles, which is going to be kind of one of the main things that we're going to be doing. That's going to be how we're going to be able to actually run our engines. So explore is done. Next is going to be settling. Settling is how we turn those worlds that we've acquired in the Explorer action from the grayscale side to the, hey, I'm active and have been colonized, and now I can start getting you things which will get you money and victory points. The bonus is, hey, you get to get another colonist from the supply right there off the top. Then every player in turn order chooses one of 2 actions. Either gain 2 more colonists or be able to settle a world, okay? Settling a world means it's now colonized. So settle and colonize, synonymous kind of. They essentially mean the same thing. And then you'll see after it's all done, check the remaining supply of colonists. If there are less than 5, the game ends this round. Okay, easy enough. Now, let's go back and take a look at my player board over here, and let's talk about how the settle action actually works. So, on these tiles themselves, you'll notice that on the grayscale side, they have a name, and you'll notice that some of the words might be in a certain color. So you'll notice that this green uplift or red rebel, those are going to be certain things because there are rule breakers that say for every rebel world or every uplift label that you have, whatever, do X or get Y, whatever it may be. In addition to that, you'll see how many victory points it will be worth once you have settled, i.e. you have colonized, flipped it over onto its other side. Then it shows what type of world it is. Now, let's go ahead and look at these 3 a little bit more in detail there. You'll notice that this one has kind of a green halo around the outside of it, and you'll notice that these over here do not have a halo around them. The difference with the halo versus non-halo, this means it's a windfall world. The general rule, I say general because there's always exceptions, the general rule is when you colonize this world, it's going to get a resource placed on it. And that's the only time that it's going to get a resource on it, usually. These are production worlds. Production worlds do not get a resource on it when it's colonized. However, in the produce action, which we haven't talked about yet, these will then get repeatedly, hopefully, get resources placed on them as the game goes through. So that's going to be the difference between Halo versus non-Halo. And then we have military, which are, these are written in red, you'll notice, or outlined in red, the numbers, and then outlined in black, which is non-military. The difference here is to be able to settle these worlds, you need 2 different things. You need an available colonist, possibly 2 available colonists from your supply already, because remember, the settle action is going to give you bonus 1, but also gain colonists, but you're gaining colonists to then permanently place them onto these worlds, and they are now a part of that world. So you need colonists. In addition to that, you're going to need either credits, i.e. cash, so money, 5 for this one, or military. If it's written in red, you need to have military strength. You take it by brute strength. Well, if you take a look at my printed one here, it says whenever I take the settle action, +2 military strength. Well, that means if I have all 3 of these as already explored face down on their grayscale side, I can choose to spend $5 for this one. I can't afford to do that. Or I have 2 military strength, so I can go ahead and settle one of these provided I have a colonist available. The colonist that's on this one actually starts the game on that, so that's your starter world that's already been settled / colonized, so I can't use that one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if I had a colonist in my supply, I then, using that, I don't waste it, it's just, hey, I have 2 military. I say, hey, I go ahead, I'm going to settle this world. I will then take that colonist and that permanently goes down onto that world. And now that is a windfall world. So that means I'm going to get a green resource placed on that. And at the end of the game, that's going to be worth 2 points. And also it has the uplift title on it for anything that triggers with the uplift things. Does that make sense? Any questions on any of that?
Nope.
Okay. If in lieu of that though, I had chosen the rebel miners. Again, the cost would be 2 military, and things stack. So for instance, if I had the space marine here, it's +2 military, +2 military. So I actually have 4. What that does not mean is I can't settle both of these. You're only allowed to settle one world. So in this case, of these 3, I still could only choose one of them, but I have at least the minimum military, just as an idea. So here, I would not get any resources because it's not a windfall, but it will produce when we get to the produce step. I would have to put a colonist on there from my supply. It's worth 1 point, and it says whenever I take the settle action, I can remove 1 rare element, i.e. brown resource good, for 2 military. More on that here in a little bit, okay? So any questions about the settle action, which is going to be one of the key ones in the game?
Yep. Nope.
Okay, all right, 2 left. We have the produce action. The produce says you're allowed to put 1 resource on any production world. What does that mean? Non-windfall, okay? So if it has a halo on it, you can't do that, except for the player that chose this. The player that chose this, the bonus is put 1 matching color resource on 1 windfall world and take any money that is left on this tile. Why would this tile have money? Because at the end of the round, if the tile is not selected, we add a credit to it to entice people to take the production.
And I should point out that some worlds, like New Sparta here, are grey. That means they don't produce at all.
Correct. All right, so there are 4 colors of resources in the game. There are green, yellow, blue, and brown, which all have names, but they are green, blue, brown, and yellow. There you go. That's what you need to know. All right, so obviously the associated color world you would produce on any production worlds that you have. So for instance, if I had both of these here, I have a brown production world, I have a brown production world, then in that case, I would get that and that, provided I already had colonists on that. However, let's say I had these resources already on there and somebody takes the production action. Well, good news, bad news. I have resources on there. The bad news is each world can only have 1 resource on it. So you don't get any more. So if somebody takes another production action while these are still on there, I don't get to produce on those worlds. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? All right. So that is the production action. And then now that we have produces, now that we have resources on our worlds, what do we do with them? Well, I'm glad you asked. Whoever chooses the trade consume tile gets a point. In addition to that, everybody may sell one resource, i.e. one good, from any one of their available worlds that have resources on them for the amount of credit shown. Novelty, rare, genes, and alien, those are the 4 different colors. There you go. You would get $1 to $4 depending on which one, if you choose to do that. In addition to that, then, you can use all your consume powers. So anything that has that little arrow on it, all right? So for instance, this trade league says you gain $2 when you trade a good. You can consume $3 for 2 victory points. So that would be a consume. Whenever you consume, that would trigger. Same with the prosperous economy one.
And I'm assuming this is the case. This is the case in Race to the Galaxy. That's not an option. You must consume goods if you have a consumption power and the appropriate goods to consume.
Correct. It's never a may in that case. All right? So that's how you're going to run through. Developments, rule breakers, and endgame victory points. Explore, getting new worlds out. Settle, gets the worlds from here, flipped over, going clockwise there. Settling, flips them, or exploring puts them out, settling flips them over, produces, puts goods on them, trade and consume, gets rid of those goods and turns them into victory points and money, rinse and repeat until one of the 4 endgame triggers is triggered. Then we go into final scoring, which is basically add up all the points on all your worlds, etc., and developments. Whoever has the most points wins. And that, folks, is New Frontiers. All right? Easy enough. Yep. Good. Let's reset these. I will put these into the bag. I suppose I will give up Space Marines. Yep. That is good. We need to randomize turn order because whoever is last in turn order will get 1 extra credit. What deck is this one?
This is Future Art Deck.
Seems appropriate. Looks like Queen.
Yep.
All right, and then Shrey. So I will go last. So Shrey is second, Martin is first. And so I'm last, so I will get the extra buck. There we go. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. We will keep these up at the top, and then as people take actions, drop them down to the bottom. But other than that, I think we are ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
So, Martin, it is your honor, and here we go.
I shall choose to develop.
All right, so you get a discount of 1.
And I'm going for develop because I particularly fancy developing investment credits. Investment credits basically give me a -1 cost on all future developments. So that's a pretty nice little development.
So that would normally cost you $3.
It will only cost me 2. I can't use its own benefit on itself, of course. That would be strange. So I just pay the $2. But now I'm -1 on all developments in the future.
And now Shrey gets the option of being, I said option, does not have to purchase. Keep that in mind, all right? Place your bets, over under on Glory to Rome's 4.5.
Yeah. There's a couple of good options. I'm gonna spend a single space buck and get export duties, which is a +1 buck when I trade.
So that,
Yeah.
i.e. when you sell something, right?
Specifically trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Don't pick me. I'm not going to win tonight. You've been warned. Okay. So I have the extra buck. So I could get up to those, but I could not get Prosperous Economy or Trade League. And honestly, I have never gone military because it's always intimidated me whenever I've played this. But honestly, if you're going to go military, lean into military is kind of what I've learned from folks. So my options realistically are either Space Marines, which only cost me $2, which leave me $2, which having money to be able to do things is good, like to be able to develop worlds or settle worlds. But if it's going to be military, I don't need the money as much. So maybe it behooves me to take drop ships, which is worth more victory points costs twice as much, but it's +3 military. So I'm leaning towards one of those. And I don't have a really good feel for as to why I would do it. The only reason I would leave myself money is if I want a 2-value non-military world when somebody explores, which doesn't seem like a terrible idea. And I don't know the distribution between 4s and 5s. Let me look. They are mostly 4 or lower. All right, fine. I will take Space Marines for $2. So I will spend.
We all knew he had to join the Marines.
Well, yeah, duh. Actually, I'll keep a supply over here since that's not. And again, it doesn't matter where you put it. Boom, done. So that's Martin's turn.
Yep.
Yep.
So he's done. And now, Shrey, it is your honor for the various actions.
And
Okay?
I will call trade consume.
That seems selfish.
Well, it helps Martin a bit, but I mean, I got this development.
We probably ought to talk about actually our starting world. So hold on,
sure.
before we do that, you're going to, but
Yes.
you want to go ahead and talk about what
Yeah.
your world is here.
So I have Alpha Centauri, which is a 2 rare windfall world, 0 victory points at the end of the game. Because it's a windfall world, it starts with a good on it. The power is when I settle another brown world, I get a discount of 1 on non-military and a +1 on military. So if there's a brown 1 out there that 1 military, I can settle it because I have essentially 1 brown military strength right now.
Cool. All right, and Martin, what is yours?
I have the mining colony,
The Imperium
which is
Mining
an
Company.
Imperium world. So it will give me +1 military. And at any point, I can discard a rare elements good, either from here or any other rare elements good I might happen to have, to get an extra +2 military. And it's a windfall world, so I actually start with some rare goods right there.
All right, and mine, and I should point out, when we randomly got dealt our player boards, they're double-sided, and we did choose before the game started which side. I started with New Sparta. It's worth a point. It's a 2 gray, as you see, so it's never going to produce. It's never going to be a windfall. I don't get anything. But whenever I take the settle action, it's +2 military. So that seemed like a pretty good place to start. So we did. But that said, go ahead. I don't like either of you for doing this, but taking the trade action.
So I'll sell my brown good for $3. Normally 2, but I get an extra 1 because of my development.
And you get an extra point because of
Yes.
taking the trade consume.
So actually, I have a choice. I could choose to keep the good in order to boost my military, or I could sell it for the $2. I feel that I'm almost certainly going to need the $2, so I'm going to do that. And let's face it, I'm still a cycle away from actually even having a planet, let alone thinking of getting it, and there are other ways to boost my military.
I elect to not trade and consume because
A very wise
I
choice.
have no goods. So there we go. All right, so my turn now. So that was Shrey. You're done. So it's back to, or my first turn. Getting more money, not a terrible idea. Being first. Now this is an interesting thing. I could choose to do that, and then I would become first next turn and gain a point in doing so. Not a terrible idea. I could explore right now also, because being able to pick 2 worlds also seems like a pretty good idea. But honestly, to start out with, you know what? I hear points are the goal of the game, and I don't want to go last all the time. So I'll go ahead, I become first player, and I get a point, please.
A
Boom,
point.
done. Running away, we could stop now.
Yeah.
Right. All right, cool. So that's the end of the round.
Yep.
Did we trigger the end of the game? No. Did anybody take produce? No. So we had a buck onto it. There we go.
And if we did stop the game now, I'd just point out that I've also got 2 points because my investment credits are worth 2 victory points.
I have 3.
That's true.
Just saying.
That's true. Okay, I'll take that back.
All right. So it's my turn. So now all of these reset, as you can see, and well, I think it makes a lot of sense for me to go ahead and explore. So we're going to draw 7, and in fact, Shrey, if you want to, go ahead and draw them out and just set them down over here. So we're going to draw 7 of them out of the bag, and then I get to pick one. Then Martin, then Shrey, then me get to pick another. And they will be on their dark side, on their grayscale side. That's 3.
There's one you can.
4.
That seems
5. That is a really big number. 6, and that is 7. Let's see. I don't know if that is going to work for the 7. Almost.
Oh, I can move that down.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's keep it there. All right, so what do we got? We have a blue 2. We have a green 5. We have an alien 7. Yellow, I know that's alien. Blue is, it's a 0. It's a windfall. Also an uplift. Okay, cool. A 2 military, a 9 military, the stronghold. The 9 is awesome, but that is like, I mean, I'm at 4 military. The fact that that's a windfall, which is great, but it's a one-time, I don't know. I have $2 available. I could go ahead and take the retrofit, which after you develop a tile, you gain an extra $1. That seems like a pretty cool thing. Realistically, I'm leaning towards one of these two, but the fact that that's only $1 and the dollar is the lowest value, I think I'll stick with the military theme to start and then see what they leave me. So I'll go ahead and take the reptilian uplift race. That goes face down over here. I've chosen, and now it goes in turn order. So Martin, you get to go next.
Well, that's what I would have chosen, if that's both in your position and in my position.
Well, that makes me feel better. All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good solid choice. Leaves me with slim pickings, I think. There's a lot of expensive worlds there.
Yeah,
it's going to be a while before I get to them. So an interesting question between the whatever it is, retrofit and salvage incorporated. It's nice after you develop a tile to gain a bit of money. That could be pretty handy. But one of the problems with it, of course, is that it requires 2 colonists to colonize.
Oh, I missed that part.
Which is a little bit painful.
Yeah. Ouch.
Otherwise, I get a windfall, but it's novelty goods, so it's only going to be fairly cheap sales. I'm not really into consumption, so I'm inclined, even though it's not the greatest, I'm going to go with this.
Okay.
And the retrofit and salvage goes over here.
There we go. And I'm lamenting what I realized what I should have done this turn. Instead of explore, because I don't have any colonists, if I'd settled, I could have potentially gotten 3 colonists out of this before any of us had worlds. And then somebody else take the explorer and I would have gotten 1, but I...
Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to take 2 colonists. Since the
No, wrong.
Oh, it's settled that you do that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry. Okay, take that back.
No worries. So, Shrey.
Yeah, I drew poorly. Those 5s they're nice, but not early.
Right. Maybe a devolved uplift race?
I don't like that either.
And you do have to take a world, correct? I believe you must,
Yeah.
but there's no reason not to, right?
I will
Right.
take the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now it is back to me to take any that I wish. And this is kind of an interesting conundrum right now. Now do I look later at the 9? And so I have 4 military. I'll still only have 4 military even after I settle the other world. So I would need 5 more. That stronghold is 9 points. It's 2 colonists, but maybe? Or do we look at the crappy devolved uplift race? No, we'll go ahead, I think, and take the Rebel Stronghold as my second one, as my special ability. These then go back into the bag, and that is me. So I'm done. If you'll move that over.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Fowler, it's your honor.
It is me, now with a bit more money. And what do I go for? Well, I've been kind of inching my way to doing more development stuff, so I'm going to do another develop.
All right.
And now, I picked investment credits the first time because the nice thing about investment credits is if you're going to do a fair bit of developing, having one off every development is really nice. I'm now effectively -2 because I get the bonus from taking the action and the
one on your
development
board,
itself.
yeah. I'm not even going to bother showing these really in detail because none of us are close to getting these down here, so we're focused mostly up on the top.
Although I am keeping a little bit of those in mind, although not particularly at the moment because I'm focused on development. So, actually, as I go through my explanation of what I'm thinking, that will come through. So there's kind of two tracks I feel that are interesting to me. One would be a kind of military imperial rebel track that would kind of be aiming at Imperium Lords, maybe New Galactic Order, but primarily Imperium Lords, where you get bonuses for every rebel and Imperium planet that you take. That's going to require a fair bit of military, and that would argue for me bumping up my Space Marines. Dropships will be the two obvious targets for that.
Yep.
The other alternative is really pushing on some of these rare earths. I'm already starting with some rare earth, and also I get the military advantage from having rare earths. And there is a mining league, however, that will give me victory points for rare earth planets. So that would argue that I'd push towards trying to find more rare earth possibilities. And on that front, there are a couple of interesting options here. For instance, mining industries, which will gain me a little bit of extra money if I produce a lot of rare earths. But I've also got an eye on something that's not specifically rare earths, which is terraforming robots. The nice thing about this is that now, actually no, it wasn't the terraforming robots. It was the terraforming specialists. These produce on a windfall colony with no goods. So if somebody takes a produce action, even if I've got only a windfall, I can produce on it, which is actually a pretty nice thing to have when you've got a windfall here. And it doesn't cost me anything because I'm -2. So I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to wait a little bit on the military because I'm not rushing at this point for military capability.
Well explained. That was good. That was really, really good. Shrey.
Yeah. I will develop. If Martin didn't take that, I was probably going to take it.
But even though there's another tile, why are you thinking that?
So I expect that Martin won't be calling produce a ton.
Okay.
And I don't know what you're going to end up doing yet.
That makes two of us. Okay, right.
It might end up being me who calls produce more often.
Right.
So I wouldn't need that necessarily.
Because you get to do that on a windfall either way, right? Okay, that makes sense.
So the other options are, I don't think I could get a replicant robots because I have a heavy. So this gives me a discount to settlement. And I have a expensive world. Mm-hmm. I don't have the colonists to settle it yet, so maybe not yet. Instead, I think what I'll do is let's just double check this. Yeah, there's two that I like. Can wait on that one, I think. No, I'll do this. Okay, so I'm going to spend 3. 1, 2, 3.
Homesteading Pioneers?
Homesteading Pioneers.
Yep. Okay, that's what I thought, because whenever you explore, gain a colonist, which is really tasty, right?
Yes,
if I had another dollar, I would also be picking that. But taking that terraforming specialist might not be a terrible idea. And the reason is because my first world that I'm probably going to be able to colonize is going to be a green, which is a genes or a 3 value windfall world. So doing that might not be terrible. I could save the $2 to be able to work up for the drop ships, but I feel like I should be kind of focused on getting stuff efficiency-wise. And I can't take another Space Marine as much as I would love to. You're only allowed one of each title. So I think actually the terraforming specialist kind of makes the most sense. I think the other thing was the alien researchers, which would give me +3 military whenever going for alien worlds, meaning, yellow worlds, which would actually give me a 7 alien in that case. Which is nice, but it's very specific. And I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. But yeah, I think the terraforming specialist makes sense for me to be able to do, given the first world that I'm looking at there. So I'm going to put mine, settle stuff up there, produce stuff there. There we go. That costs $2. Boom, done. That's Martin.
And I am simply going to retreat into isolation and take $2.
Okay. Easy enough. We add another $1 on produce. These reset. Turn order does not change because nobody took the send diplomatic envoys, and it's back to my turn. All right? Well, none of us have colonists. So being able to take the extra colonists seems good. So let's go ahead and settle. So I'm going to get a bonus of 1. Nobody else is going to be able to do this because nobody has a 0 value. So everybody's taking colonists. I just happen to get 3. So that'll work. And now ready to rock and roll for whenever folks take those actions. That's me. Over. Martin, you're up.
My move is pretty obvious, I think. I'm the only one who could produce if I take the produce action, and I get $2. So it's kind of like retreating to isolation and get some rare earths as well.
Ooh, so he got that. Yeah. Seems selfish. Whatever.
I didn't need the terraforming specialist's note for that because that was the bonus action on produce itself. But
Which is a windfall, which is that.
I'll get in some more windfalls later on to make them more powerful.
Mr. Pearl Hit.
I think I will. Yeah, I'll develop.
Okay.
And
that
for
stinks.
3, I will buy replicant robots. Which will give me a discount of 2 on settlements in the future.
Makes sense. I elect to not develop because I'm broke.
Yeah.
And I rather fancy these homesteading pioneers, so I will pay only 2 because of my investment credits.
And note, that means I'm not getting any. So that's empty. That's empty, etc. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we're done. Next round.
We just, moving these over just seems like
Fair
seems
point.
unnecessary.
It is. In a 4 or 5 player game, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, settling now kind of makes sense, I think. So I will go ahead and set. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. I will settle now. There. So I'm going to get my 1 colonist, and then I'm going to choose to do that one. So I get a colonist. Then I have at least 2 military. Good to go. That will flip over. I take a colonist from my supply, the one I just got, and then it's a windfall. So therefore I get a genes resource, please, that goes onto it. Boom. Done. Shrey.
I get 2 colonists because I cannot settle my green world yet.
Okay. And Mr. Fowler.
It's actually interesting. I mean, I'm now in a position to settle my retrofit and salvaging. I'm still not terribly impressed with it as a world, and it's going to use up both of those 2 colonists, which would be a bit annoying. But I think I'm going to do it. I feel I'm going to do some developments in the future, so having this ability to get a buck every time I develop is nice. And of course, I do have the homesteading pioneers, which are going to ensure that I get at least some supply of colonists.
And y'all are right. I blew it. I could have actually done that last time when I took it because I get the bonus, and then I could have. Yeah, I just messed up. All right, so that's me. Martin, you're up.
Well, a good part of this game is doing things that aren't going to help other people, and I was therefore going to immediately do a trade because nobody else had any goods, but Edward has gone and
Messed that up.
has messed my plans up with his
You
clever
can
little
still
settlement.
trade. You get an extra point.
I do, but I don't know whether that's what I most want to do at this point. Lots of other options become interesting. With Explore, I could see what my new world possibilities are, and I'd get an extra colonist, which is quite nice. I have gone bonkers on developing. I could develop more. I've got enough credits to afford what's kind of next on my likely to be next on my shopping list. And I don't really know what my shopping list looks like until I see what the planetary situation is. So I think I'm going to explore.
All right, so 7, and if you would
7.
just hand them to me and we'll throw them out over here.
That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, you drew some brown.
Yes, definitely
And
some
I'm
brown.
going to give you a settler. So Bart and I each get a settler for our homesteading pioneers.
Yep.
Yep.
And now, the Ort Cloud Refinery is kind of the one kind of really weird world in this game. You kind of choose in a given action what color when it counts as an alien. When you get the windfall, when you colonize it, you choose the color, and then cannot trade this good. You may choose the colony's kind each action, and it game ends. So whichever color works best for you on a given action, that's what you do. Okay?
Fascinating. Well, if my plan is to work towards Imperium Lords, then I want to keep an eye on Rebels, and there's 2 Rebels there. Rebel Outpost, quite expensive to build militarily, worth a lot of victory points. Will boost military. Of course, I'm going to need to bump my military up. At the moment, I only have 3 if I sacrifice a rare earth good.
Except the Rebel Miners here remove a rare element good for +2 military,
Which is exactly what I've already got from my Imperium mining colony.
Right.
But it is a rebel, and if I get my military up a little ways, it'll get it up. And of course, it produces rare earths, which is nice because I could like that. Then there's also Imperium Gem Arms Dealers. So that is effectively a Rare Worlds production for me because of the fact, well, no, sort of. I can produce on windfalls, so if I do a production myself, I'd get both of them. It's +2 military, so it'll give me a good bit more capability. So that's quite tempting as well. Also in the Rare Earths package, I have Comet Zone. It looks quite nice. Gain $1 when I produce on this colony. That could be nice. New Earth is probably out of my price range at the moment. There's also
remember, you're going to get 2.
Yeah, there's also the Amphibian Uplift, which is another military possibility if I get my military up. And I can easily get my military up to take those 2 worlds. So there's quite nice possibilities. So Edward is also going military. He might go for the Rebel Outpost, or he might want to try and improve his economy a bit with a bit of either Rare Earth or Uplift. Uplift could be interesting because he's already got Uplift, but none of the 9-point bonuses have Uplift on them, which is a bit unfortunate. Although the Pan-Galactic League does give you bonuses for Gene's worlds, the green worlds. Yep. So that would incline him perhaps to go in that direction, particularly if I clobbered there with one of the rare earths. Shrey he's very open at the moment, pretty open-minded as to where he goes. He can more easily settle a rare earth colony. But other than that, doesn't have a strong direction. Questions. I think I'm going to go with the Imperium arms dealers, and we'll see what comes around to me at the end.
Yep. So I'm going to take one of the rare worlds. As Martin pointed out, I have an extra discount on this. So I have a discount of 3 on rare. So I could settle this for free, essentially.
Which is not terrible.
Which is not terrible. I kind of like this one more because I like the power more.
More colonists, but you have a ton now, so it's
right. But it costs $2 instead of just 1, and instead of free. So this would cost 2. This would be free. If I only have $1, so it's such a good one right now, though.
These are the choices that make.
If I was to take that, then I would need money, which means I could just choose Retreat into Isolation again as my last action. But then one of you might call trade before we settle, and then or before we produce next, and then I.
Well, I mean, it's your turn.
Oh,
right?
Sure. So I could call produce myself.
Right.
Which might be the thing to do, but then we may not produce. I may not trade until after
next,
settling.
Right? Yeah.
So in that case, I will take the Comet Zone, which is the one that is free.
I really wanted the Rebel Miners because the +2 military and it's a production world. I was leaning towards the amphibian, the Uplift Me Elmo here, but the fact that none of these are an uplift, so I wanted.
No, the second one down is an uplift on the right there.
Oh, it is. Hold on.
Survey, yes, that's
true. Hold on.
I missed that as well. That is an uplift.
Right here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take the Rebel Miners regardless. So, okay. Done?
Oh, so now you're saying I just told Martin that one is...
Yeah, pretty. But no,
well,
no, no, no.
it doesn't really make any difference because I was thinking I was going to go with that one anyway because...
So then these back into the bag.
I'll be in a position to build it, and genes are worth a little bit more in trade, which is not a bad thing.
All right. And
Hey, Franny, hi, Bernardo, and everybody else. All right.
as previously discussed, I will call produce so I don't miss out on that later, and it only helps me.
And as chat pointed out, your bonus is you get to produce on one windfall. If you had 5 windfalls, you get to produce one windfall, and then everybody gets to produce on all of their buildings or all their worlds.
Oh, this helps Martin. Well, he gets... That's fine. I don't know.
Well, no, I only get this.
Yeah, that's fine. You
All
can,
right,
you can
so
have it.
now you all produce.
I can have a bit of novelty.
I don't because I have a resource already on mine, so alas, done. All right, so somebody did call produce, so we do not do the extra buck and a new round. Okay, so settling makes sense with that. Producing doesn't make sense to me. Consume or trade consume, y'all. So Martin would get $3 theoretically. I would get $3.
He would only get 2.
I'm going to get 2.
Only 2?
Yeah.
Because I can only sell 1 good.
Oh, right. And then any consume powers, which... So maybe that's not a bad idea to do the trade consume, but I really want to get that settled for the next production. But looking at this, neither of you are inclined to do a produce action right now.
Correct.
Martin can settle either of his worlds. Shrey can settle one of his. I need cash. To be able to get cash, I need to be able to sell this good. But you both are inclined, somebody is, to do the trade consume. So therefore, I think I will go ahead and settle. So I will take my bonus colonist there. And it's 2 military, which we've established I have. Boom, done. And I will go. There we go. It's not a windfall, it's a production, so that's good.
And I will settle Comet Zone because it's free. Since I have a discount of 2 and a discount of 1 on brown.
Okay.
And it will cost me 2 to sell my Imperium Gem arms dealers, but that now puts my military up to 3, which means that amphibian uplift race is very nervous.
And you,
Oh, it's a windfall as well, of course, yes.
All right, so that's me. Martin, you're up. So, are y'all able to follow along? Does this, does all this make sense? Hopefully.
So settle was fairly good. I would have gone for settle had Edward not have done it. Now kind of the trade, but other people can do trade. It's better for Edward anyway, because he gets a little bit more cash off his trade. So he's likely to do it when we cycle round again, and even Trey might do it to get a bit of cash.
I'm not. I'm gonna let y'all do it because we're all broke at this point now. So I'm okay waiting.
Yep. Actually, yes, we are all broke. He said a magic word, which means I choose develop. Because if we're all broke, I can develop my space marines for $1.
Because it's discount. Yeah.
Oh, but do I want to do that? I'm already at military 3. Do I need to go up to military 5? Or is there something else that's going to be more interesting for me at this point? Because I don't have the need for military. I do want to develop. And I can develop any of the 1s or 2s.
And remember that when we produce, every world can only have 1 resource on it max. So
what's my possibilities? So mining industries, if I produce the most rare earths, then I get $1. Well, Shrey's also heading into that. Could be, well, he's in a better position in many ways for me at the moment because he's got to produce and a windfall world. So I don't think that's likely to be very appealing to me. Over here we have the survey team. What does that do? After explore, draw a world from the bag. Basically get a random world whenever we do an explore. It's better than a kick in the teeth with a sharp stick. Export duties. So that's the extra 1 for a trade. That's kind of appealing. Sure, I made good use of that. And there will be some trading going on, I suspect, soon. So that's actually rather appealing. Contact specialists allows me to settle military worlds without military by paying cash instead. Ha! I don't use such weaklings. I'm going down a bit of a military track myself. Galactic advertisers is an interesting one. This allows consuming. No one's really got any consume powers yet.
Nope. Nothing. Here.
Consume powers, if we're going to have goods, and I have a lot of goods, there's two things you can do with goods. You can sell them, but you can only sell one of them for credits. The other thing you can do is use consume powers. This consume power allows me to consume one good for a VP and a buck. Now, novelty is pretty crummy to sell because it's only worth selling for $1. If I consume it with galactic advertisers, I still get the buck, but I also get a VP as well.
And remember, you have 2 discount. You have one for this and one for your...
Oh, that's true. So the freezer option. Oh my God, you didn't think that was going to go into the freeze. So what do we have here? Consumer markets. Free novelty goods for... Yeah, no, I'm not going to go that much into novelty goods. Terraforming robots after I settle gain $1 and a world. So it's kind of like the one earlier that I mentioned that gained a world.
But better.
But better because I get $1 as well.
Right.
So that's kind of tempting. But on the whole, given how much stuff I've got and the feeling that I'm going to be producing a fair bit, I think I want the consume powers. That will not cost me anything.
Not a windfall world. Okay, so here I will show you all that a little bit. It's just a regular brown. See, no halo. Okay, okay. So Shrey, you have a buck. Do you want to purchase any developments, good sir?
Yeah. So I actually was considering the one that Martin just took.
Good thing that for you, there's 2 of
There is
each,
2 of them,
right?
and I can afford it, so I will do that. But then if I call
It's all about not helping your opponents more than it helps you in a given action. Hey, Derek. I don't feel like I'm getting destroyed. I feel like I'm behind, but I don't feel like I'm getting eviscerated.
I'm going to need this eventually anyway, so...
All right.
A good tile.
So there's 2 of them. So Shrey, it's your honor.
So if I did trade, Martin, you would get 3, right?
No, I only get 2.
Well,
no, yeah, I'd get 3 because I consume the other goods. Quite correct.
So we would all get 3. You would get an extra point, which I need the money. Is the problem? So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So you get the extra point first off. Then everybody may sell 1 good, and we can do this simultaneous. But so I'm selling this for 3. Oh, my apologies. I got the cash. And then, if you have any resources left and you have consume powers, you may do so. So, Martin.
I will sell this for 2. That's my sale.
Because 2.
And then I will use this with this consume power to get one of these nice little victory points and a
and that came from that world there. So, there you go.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, end of the round. Nobody produced. We throw a buck on produce. There we go. And you all see that, I mean, outside of us having to explain what it is we're doing and everything, turns go super
This is
super
a very
snappy.
quick game.
Yeah, it is, surprisingly. Okay, so now producing actually makes sense for me if I want to. Gives me an extra buck, great. I get to produce a brown here, and in addition to that, I get to put a green on there on my windfall. Not a terrible idea. Sounds good. Let's not overthink it. I'll take the buck, and I will produce a brown and a green.
I get to produce a blue because that's a production world, and because of my terraforming specialists, I get to produce a brown.
Which is basically the same as the windfall, the special ability on that.
And I get to produce on this comet zone brown, and when I produce on this, I get a buck.
Team player.
Yeah.
Somebody was going to produce. I might as well get the extra buck and the green resource being key, so that's why I did it. All right, Martin.
So what now? Oh, and that should be here.
Yeah.
That's important.
If it's colonized, it has to have the right amount of
Yes,
colonists.
I remember forgetting that a lot in previous games of this. Because you're not used to thinking with colonists as well in race. So, settle would not be super exciting for me because I don't have the colonists to settle with. And both my other players do.
But I can't.
Edward's not going to settle. Shrey may very well.
I do have 6 military, which is not 9, unfortunately.
Right. But I'm better off waiting for somebody else to call settle because I'm going to need the colonist. Or, of course, I could go exploring, which is another way of getting me a colonist. That's always a good move for that.
I'm good for that.
So that's plausible. Do I want to go more rampant developments? Maybe not at this point. I feel do I need to? I certainly can't produce. I don't think trade. I'm quite happy for other people to do that as well. Yeah. We're all in a fairly similar position in terms of reasonably good finances, etc. I fancy the explore.
All right. So 7 worlds. I'll go ahead.
So I get one for my homesteaders as a Shrey.
Yep.
6 and there's 7.
Okay, let's look through these, shall we? What do we have?
Just for the cameras.
Yep.
There, and there. All right. So, deserted alien outpost gives you an alien good. It's worth $4. We have a rebel resistance. So at the end of the game, this is going to be worth 2 points per rebel world. It's an 8 military, as you can see. Whenever produced, gain $1 for every rebel military colony in your empire. Colony is settled world, right? Remember? Whenever you produce, gain $1. But remember, this is a gray world, so this won't get anything on it. But whenever you do produce somewhere, you're going to gain $1 on that. This one, you're going to get +1 military for every uplift world. Tempting. That's cool. I have one of those. Oh no, Martin potentially could have one of those. Any others? Who cares? They're not military.
So the tourist world is a consumer. Consume 2 goods for 3 victory points.
Tourist world.
And the refugee world, when you explore, you gain a colonist. So it's a good way of increasing your colonist intake.
Yep.
Wow.
That's actually a really interesting draw. Like, there's a lot of those I like.
So if I am aiming towards doing something with rebels, of course, Edward is also heading in that direction now as well. This rebel uplift force is quite intriguing. It would certainly... the thing is, there's a number of these things I'm kind of thinking Edward would really like this, and so...
You're not going to be able to keep me from all of them? That's the thing.
No, you're not. No,
right?
I'm not.
And this one, also notice, does have an uplift on it. So this counts as a +1 military as well. So, yeah, realistically, there are 2 that I really want out there.
Yeah, and the underground could be quite nice. And actually, the Rebel Renaissance, it's a big point scorer, so it's a save for later kind of world, but it's quite a nice save for later kind of world. But I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the uplift. I think that's
that was one of the 2, obviously, that I was leaning towards.
That's
so,
a very...
And I don't have contact specialists, so I'm going to stay away from the military for now. I love tourist world, but I don't have enough production worlds yet. So
because it's going to take 2 goods to be able to make that viable.
That's
I actually thought Martin was going to go for that one because he has.
It was a possibility because I do have. Good goods.
So it's either the free refugee world, free meaning because I have a discount of 2, or the slightly more expensive alien. I'm going to take the refugee world.
Okay, and I'm taking the rebel resistance because I'm going to have a way to be able to get 9 military here very soon. So being able to do this one along with the rebel stronghold just makes a lot of sense. I would have gone for the other one probably, the one that Martin took, but yeah, gonna go ahead, take that one. And Martin, you get one more choice.
Uplift.
It's not a surprise that he went for that, but then that really raises the question of if there's a chase after the Imperium Lords.
Imperium Lords is
that one.
That right there.
Which he gives you 2 victory points per rebel world. He's setting himself up nicely for that. He's got 3 rebel worlds currently.
Oh, and I should also point out, there's only 1 of each of these. There's 2 of each of these in a 3 and 4 player game. There's 1 in every game of those.
Then on the uplift side, for instance, there is another uplift up there.
There is.
An uplift. Doesn't really do anything other than give me a bit of windfall and like.
That's my guess.
But would be an intriguing route and would sort of push me down the uplift direction. which also is not a bad direction to go when you consider this galactic survey. What else does that give me? It's 2 for an uplift planet and 1 for other planet. So it's definitely pushing you to do lots of exploring and building. They both require military. They both require military that I've got under control already because of my arms dealers, so I can build them easily. They both require 1 What's-it, so that's straightforward. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with it on the rebel side.
All right.
Still
so
push
go
on the
back
rebels.
into the bag. Shuffle those up. And Shrey, your honor.
Yeah. If I called settle, Martin would be able to settle, but you would not.
Correct. And Martin's probably the one in the lead. Right
Yeah,
now,
I know.
So
I'm not happy about the world that Martin has been getting, so happy to let him call it.
Yep.
I don't really want to. I could do that, and is there a reason to do that? The fact that settle has not been called as much is interesting. Yeah, I'm fine. I will get another couple bucks.
Okay. All right. Produce was called, so no extra buck out there. It is now my turn. I need to develop. That is super, super important. That's going to be a drop ship for $3 because I get the $1 discount. And now my military currently is 2, 4, 7. And then if I settle, I can remove this for a +2, which means now I'm set up to be able to settle those whenever somebody calls settle. So it was important for me to get that done before you guys settled. And now I'm going to be able to get one of those out.
Yep.
So that said, Martin, do you wish to develop? I assume.
I do. I mean, I can always develop one of the singles for nothing. So,
For free, correct. And you have
based
$4.
on that, and the question is whether I want to spend to get something more spendy. I'm not in a rush to improve my military. We already went through some of the others. So I'm thinking it's either going to be export duties to get money when I trade, or do I want extra planets by going for the survey team, which would get me an extra mystery meat every time somebody does a planetary move. It's one of those. I think I'm going to want the money, so I'm going to go for export duties. And that's free for me because of my investment credits, which you'll see have paid off very nicely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to spend 3.
And you have a $1 discount as well, don't you?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay, never
I'm going
mind.
to spend
So just
3 on terraforming robots, which after I settle, I get $1 and can draw a world from the bag at random.
Yep. Okay. So that was me, Mr. Fowler.
Which way to go? So
I'm okay with either thing you do.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Explore, settle, or trade. I'm good.
Yep. Well, if somebody else calls settle, I'm quite happy with that.
The funny thing is, we all keep holding each other over a barrel on the settle.
I think I want to increase my money, so I am going to trade consume.
Okay. All right.
So I will sell a rare earth good for $2,
I'm selling mine for 3.
and then I will consume with my galactic advertisers for $1 and a victory point.
Okay.
And you get an extra victory point for calling it, if you didn't already get it.
Oh yes, that's just true. Yep, that's nice.
Okay. And I can't do anything with this, plus I'm saving it. I have no consume powers. So you can only sell one, i.e. trade one, and then this is going to hang out for a +2 military. And Shrey.
Yeah. I don't really want to call settle either. But I do want to get that world out.
This just in. I'm not gonna.
Are you? I mean, you really want to call it though, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I want settle called so I can get my rebel resistance out because that's going to get us money, get me money.
So what I'm first going to do is call diplomatic envoys.
Okay, so he's going to gain first player and get a point,
Yep.
We add a buck onto produce because nobody took that round. And Shrey, it is your honor.
And now, do I settle or?
You could do that again. I'm just saying.
I think I do need to settle. I hate it, but I do need to do it.
So you're going to get one settler, and then I think all of us are going to take that action. So.
Yeah, just which one is the choice?
So
many
for me,
possibilities.
to be clear, to run everybody through while you're thinking, Martin. So I have 2, 5, 7 military. I need 8. This says whenever I settle, I can remove 1 rare element anywhere that I have it. This is the only place I have it for +2 military. So I wasted 1, but I got that out, and that's going to take 2 of my colonists on there. But now, whenever we produce, I gain $1 for each of these 2. So I get $2 whenever we produce as well, which is better than a sharp stick in the eye.
And I built my 5 green lost species arc world, and it takes 2 colonists.
And what's that do?
When produce is called, when a good is placed on the world, I get $2.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
There you go.
So I could do my uplift race to get the windfall world, but I don't really feel I need the good on there. This would increase me military a little bit, but I don't really need a military increase at this point because my military is able to handle all this. So I think I go for the Rebel Underground, which will give me a bit of money on production.
And
so that's 3 military, so I don't spend anything, I just place the colonist.
So, current situation. I have 1 colonist, 0, a lot. Okay. So that was you, Shrey? Mm-hmm. Now producing gives me $3, a windfall, and that. That's hard to pass that up. I think I have to produce. The reason it's going to give me $3, I think I have to, is I get the $1 that's on it. So there's that. Then I'm going to get $2 for that. I get a green good and a brown good there. So there, and I get $2 from the bank. So now we're up to 7. That's better. That'll work. Everybody else gets to produce.
Yep.
Yep.
And I get to produce on that because windfall, that's the bonus on
One
that
here, and my terraforming specialist. So I produce here, and I get $1 because of my export of my something. Yes, Rebel Underground. They give me $1.
And that's me. And you produced as well over there,
Yep.
Shrey?
I got those, and I got $3 because of the powers of these worlds. 2 for this and 1 for this.
All right, Martin.
And when you're last in turn order, I don't think there's really any reason not to just go first in turn order.
And take a point. And we took produce. Well, that's less than ideal. I don't like going last. All right,
It's
so
easy
Martin,
fix.
new
Okay.
round.
I think it's time for a develop again.
Yep.
And it's time to bring out the big guns. I'm going to spend 7 and take those Imperium Lords.
Yeah, glory to Rome.
Because A, it's way too much to give Edward, given the situation Edward's building up in Rebel military, and B, it's going to be good for me because I'm also building up some Rebel stuff. So
That's
It's going to cost you 6, not 7.
6.
Right? Oh, no, you get $1 back, right?
I get 1 for off for the investment credits, 1 off for the action, so
And then
that's
you get
minus
$1
2.
back for Novelty World. Is that what it is?
Oh, that's true. Yes, I read a retrofit. I gain $1. Yeah, that's nice. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Well, that was the plan.
Yeah.
That was your plan, was it? Did I spoil your
Of course that
plan?
was the plan, yeah.
That hurt.
I mean, New Galactic Order is also really good for you.
Yeah, this
Yes,
one. Yeah,
it is very nice for you, Mel.
It's 1 point per military. So right now it would be 7. Right now.
Yep.
Oh no, more than that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait.
No. It's only permanent military. It's
Okay, all right. So in that case, yeah, it's 7 right now. Okay, so that's Martin. So Shrey, are you developing?
that's a good question. Do I want to develop? Looking for a development that I don't want to spend that much money though, do I? I do not.
Yeah, there's...
Actually, wait, hang on. Sorry.
Okay.
I will spend $1 to get Contact Specialist.
So I only have $7, so I can't get any of these. But yeah, I'm willing to spend up to $1. I mean, Survey Team, it's a couple points, and, you know, it's mystery meat. Not terrible. I think I will. I'll go ahead and take the Survey Team, which gives me mystery meat whenever somebody explores. So, oops. There we go. And that cost me $1. Done. All right, so that is Martin Schrey, your honor.
1, 2, 3. I will trade.
Okay, so you get a point,
I get a point. And that's...
and I will get $3 for that. Can I get $2 when you get a chance, please? Thanks.
I get 4 for this because I get a +1, and then I'll sell this one for Galactic Adversaries. I got 5.
And as usual, I get my $3 and a point. For those who aren't familiar with Race to the Galaxy and the other things in that world, these victory point markers are the kind of definitively look of that Race to the Galaxy, etc. things. They all use that kind of marker.
I mean, hard to pass that up, so I'll go first and take a point. We had $1 onto that. 1 point, please. Thank you. And add me up to the front. I think I go ahead and settle. Yeah, we're going to settle. So I'll get 1 colonist, and then I'm going to get my rebel stronghold, which will be there and there. But I have to spend that when I do so for my 9 military.
All right, I'm going to settle my refugee world. It comes with this, and I have to put a colonist on it. And when I settle, I get $1 and a world from the bag. I get a random world from the bag.
Oh, yep.
And I elect not to settle for a very good reason that I can't, because I've got no colonists. So I'll take 2 colonists instead.
What'd you get?
Destroyed world. It's a brown header, particularly. No.
Brown windfall.
Yeah, brown windfall. I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
It's free,
Yeah,
right?
but
So,
it's also no points.
yeah, fair point. All right, so that's me. Martin, you're up.
Well.
So just quick reminder to everybody what the 4 endgame conditions are. Out of the 36 points, we got a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Out of the 36, or less than 5 colonists left. Somebody has explored, i.e., not explored, sorry, colonized their 7th world. I have 4, 3, and 3. Or 11 or 12 development spaces, and 4 away from that, and 5 away there.
Yep.
So, all right. Okay. Hey, Greg.
So, things are a bit open for me at this point. I'm not sure what my best move is. Tempted by trading. There's not a lot of goods out there.
Nope.
But on the other hand, I haven't got very much either. I could produce, which would be quite nice for me. Edward would get some rare earths. Schrey would get some rare earths.
Some cash.
And he would also get some... So produce is probably a bit stronger for Schrey, which implies that Schrey's more likely to do it at some point in the not too distant future. And I can't use both the windfall advantages I've got, so there's no real rush for me to do a produce. I'm kind of inclining. I'd really like to have done the settle myself, but that was
Just put that anywhere.
Edward got there first. Could do an explore. That would allow to see what are there. Other people would also advantage from that, but it's always nice to get the 2 worlds to choose from. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for another explore.
All right.
And of course, I get another colonist for that.
7,
Nice.
3. There's 7 there. I will get 1 extra when we're done. But before these go back into the bag, the rules do spell that out. Because of survey team. Did somebody else? No, nobody else took survey team. All right.
Yeah, these worlds don't make me happy.
Okay, there we go. Imperium. So produce, gain $1 for every Imperium colony in your empire for a military. -3 cost or +3 military whenever you settle an alien tech world for the Rosetta Stone world there. Prosperous world, consume a good for a point and $1, but it's 2 colonists, $2 when you trade a novelty good. The Deep Space Symbionts is after you develop a tile, gain $1. It's 2 colonists. 2 colonists for the Imperium Air Arms Factory. Consume up to 2 rare earth elements for $1 and a point and $1 apiece. And the Jump Drive Fuel Refinery is after you settle a world, not this one, gain $1. And I should point out that all 3 of these are 2 colonists. Not the greatest.
No, not the greatest combo. Only 1 military that I could take with my military. It's an Imperium though, so
Which is good for you.
It's good for me in that it gets me an extra point. I get a point for each Imperium tile that I have. I am beginning to think in terms of victory points and where I'm heading towards here. Holding my money might be good because I could perhaps take another bite at those 9-pointers. If I get some more money coming in. Although Edward is ready to go, well, they're both ready to go for 9-pointers, but I could think of going for a second. If I hold on to my money, or I could, the other victory point possibilities I don't think are great from the other ones. So actually, I'm gonna take that.
I figured you were going to. That kind of makes sense for you. Shrey, your honor?
Martin called this, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take one of the browns, and I think I should probably take the Imperium away from Martin in case he really wants this. Yeah, I'll take this one.
So it's 3 points. It's cheap. It's +3 on the military for an alien world. I get to draw. I don't really have a great thing that I'm going to be doing. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't really make sense. Yeah, this is the best of what's left. So for me, so I'll go ahead and choose that one, and it only cost me $2 to be able to settle it. And then I will draw this tile.
Okay. Yeah, what's left is distinctly unexciting. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it wasn't as good as the last draw was. This was the antithesis.
I like some of these. Some of these are actually pretty good.
Okay.
Prosperous World is good.
Yeah, this is one of the things where the weird switch from Race to the Galaxy, where you don't have the ability to double your victory points on consume, makes you kind of wondering exactly how good the consume action is. And I don't have a feel for how much that's changed the dynamics of doing consumes. But it's expensive though, the Prosperous World does give good victory points. I think I might take it. I'll probably end up discarding it, but
All right, so
I'll take it just on
these
the
will go
option
back
it's-
into the bag. I drew an ancient uplift race. Yeah, it's a windfall. It's $3. So, okay. Not super great, but whatever. All right. And now Shrey, your honor.
Diplomatic envoys.
Boop, boop. All right. So you become first.
Yep. And settle.
All right.
So I get a settler for a colonist for settling. I'm going to settle my. Interesting. Which one do I say? Yeah, I'll settle this one.
And I don't have any colonists, so I guess I'm taking a couple of colonists, please.
These are. This costs nothing because I have a discount of 3 on brown. So.
I will use my military forces to take the Imperium 5th column We'll put a colonist on there, and that will be quite nice when producing happens.
All right. So, me, I mean, do I go ahead and develop and get the dollar back?
Oh, and when I settle, I get a buck,
And you get to
and
draw.
I get to draw from the bag. All right.
So if I produce, I would get $5 now? Yeah, I'll go ahead and produce. So I get the 2 that's on here. Then I get 1, 1, 1, so that's $5 total. If I could get a nickel, please. There. And then those again. Makes sense.
I get $3 for my produce powers, and I get a brown, a rare, a jeans, and another rare. Good.
So I produce on my novelty world. My specialists allow me to produce on my mining colony, and then produce. This one here gives me 1 for each rebel military colony in my empire, which is 1, I guess. So that gives me a buck. I can have another buck because that's $1. And then this one gives me $1 for each Imperium colony in my empire, of which I have 2. 3, in fact. So it's $5 basically. So that was nice when he was.
But he was going to get it even if he did it, and this way I get the extra money and the green goods. So there you go. So it's your turn, Martin.
Right, with that in my turn, and then that really makes me, I'm in a position to go spendy on the big scorers. So where do I want to go? So Galactic Federation, I get terraforming. Do I have any terraforming? I don't have any terraforming. Boring. Uplift?
You have 1.
I do?
Yeah, your development.
Oh, is it all tiles, not just mallet planets? That's correct.
It is.
Actually, it's only for developments,
Yes,
because only developments
yes.
exist. Okay, well, that's interesting. Could be made more interesting by
It's a
getting these
7-pointer.
later on.
It's an 8-point tile right for you. Yeah.
And can worlds double
And
up
one for
on
others,
these?
which is quite nice.
So if you score it on something,
Yeah.
they do? Okay.
So that's 2 for an uplift world and 1 for every other world. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't like mathing these things out too much. Military. This is the one where you get a point per military.
Permanent military.
2 for that. I've already got 1, 2, 3. So it'll be 4, 5. Combined nicely with this guy, of course. 6. If I get these out, that could be quite nice. And of course, Edward's got his eye on that, so that's also tempting just to get in his way. This is more after novelty worlds. I don't have a lot of novelty worlds. Mining League I was interested in, but I'm not really heading that much into the rare elements. Shrey is also not specialising, so it doesn't look that good. Genes, similarly, not that special for me. Actually, this one really pushes for developments, and I do have a lot of development capability. So I
it sounds
think
like you're
I'm going to go
developing.
with the Federation.
So that's $7 for that?
Indeed.
Plus a buck back, I think, so $6, I think.
Effectively,
actually.
yes.
Shrey, you get to choose next.
Oh, I do. It's either.
The rare element
It's
one,
probably that one.
Mining League.
Yep. Okay.
All right, and obviously I'm taking that one.
Yeah. So this cost me 9.
So actually we will go all military on the top row. And that cost me 9. There and there. Okay.
All right, reset.
Somebody did take, yeah. So Shrey, your honor.
Phryne, yeah, you can discard. Once of these start coming over, you
Yeah.
can discard to make room. So it's never a bad thing to take a world.
Interesting choices. How many more do we have? Like we got 5. We got 4 left here.
4, so we have 9 total.
Oh, it's under 5,
It's
right?
under
Yeah, so we
5.
have yeah. So we have 5. We have to take 5 for it to go.
Okay, for it to be triggered.
Is this going to be the last turn? Potentially.
Possibly tight though, but next, I'm not thinking it's going to go much beyond this turn.
Could go 2. This and one more round max is my guess.
All right, I'm going to develop.
Okay.
Discount of 1, I'll pay 4 for Prosperous Economy, which is +1 VP when I consume.
And +1 if you have Galactic Salon, which is not in the game.
Yeah.
Galactic Salon will be on the backside of one of those,
Yep.
just an FYI. Okay, so that was Shrey. So I have $5. I don't think... A moment. 5, that's 8, 9. I don't think I'm going to purchase anything, so... Done?
And I'm going to go after that other terraforming robots.
Sure,
Since
makes
it
sense.
goes in there. And
Yeah.
that won't cost me anything because... Oh, no, it cost me 1. Because I'm -1 for my investment credits and another -1 for the Galactic Federation. So that's -2, so it costs me a princely buck.
But then you get it back.
I mean, of course, get it back. That's quite right. So it does effectively not cost me anything.
So, my turn. What are you going to do on your turn, Mark?
Good question. I'm considering that right now as we speak. What should I do?
I think I'm going to trade. So I'll get a point and $3. I'm sorry, a point, I apologize, and $3 for that. So I'll turn in 2 and get a 5. Okay.
All right, I will consume these 2 for 3 points plus 2 more, so that's 5. And I will consume this one for a buck and a point and a second point. Oh, thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Peanut Gallery. Alyssa?
And then I will trade this. Do I want to trade that one? Do I need the money? What are you going to do? I guess you could settle. I don't need the money for settling, but I might need it later. I'll go ahead and trade. I'll get the money. It's going to give me $4.
All right, Martin?
Well, obviously, I'm going to send
Take a point.
diplomatic envoys for a point and first shot at the next round.
All right.
That was the easy decision, then the difficult decision.
So we
Those
didn't
big
empty.
boys
And,
again.
okay.
Yeah, you can get another big boy. 2, 3, 4. Can you?
I have 8.
And any...
Nope.
Nope. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and maybe you can't. Okay, so what would be nice? That's novelty and just not worlds. It's uplift. I don't actually have any uplift because I didn't get my uplift going, so that's not going to be much use. This is genes. Don't have any genes going, so that's actually not much use either. Although other military. 1, 2, 3. It's only 3. It's not a lot. Galactic Exchange.
That's also 3.
Oh yeah, for different kinds of worlds. So the other possibility, of course, would be to settle, which would still mean that game ends if somebody else calls develop. Those 9s aren't as big
Appealing,
for me as
right,
I
yeah.
was initially thinking that as one might hope. Settling, of course, helps other people as well. You've got a 4 lined up. I've got a 3 lined up here. Well, I'll probably want to do... I want to get my rebels up because I get a couple for my rebels. So this is effectively worth 3, which is basically means it's worth the same as the prosperous world, but is a lot cheaper to produce. and is potentially an uplift if somebody does happen to call develop, because even if they do call, if somebody else calls develop, I can still grab. But then if this case calls settle, I can do this. So it doesn't matter which way around. Well, my inclination is, even though it's not the most super exciting, I'm gonna go for develop.
Right around.
Finish the game.
I needed to be able to do that to be able to get another big one.
So that will cost me 8. 1, 2, 3.
And
Oh, actually, I can't. Oh, yes, I can. It won't cost me 8. It'll cost me 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I get 1 back.
or it costs you 7, get 1 back.
No, 6.
6.
6. Oh, because the discount, right? Yeah.
So the discounts and get 1 back.
So I'm just looking for points at this point. So there's 3 points right here.
Yep, that's kind of where I'm leaning. So I think I do the same for 5 on that. All right, that's Martin. Shrey?
So if I develop, I'm getting 6 points, and Martin's getting. What do you get for rebels? 2 points per rebel.
Yeah.
So that's 3 he gets.
Yeah, it's reasonable. If I produce, would you trade, Edward? Seems
Unlikely.
Seems unlikely. Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, if you do settle, I get to use both of these by pulling this.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
gives
So
me a bit
it's
more.
2, 4, 5 points,
Yeah.
and I would get 6. Produce doesn't do anything good for me. Trade is useless. So it's either send diplomat envoys or settle. So I will settle because it's more fun.
I will settle that. Since I didn't get the uplift one, unfortunately, it's $2. And again, the game ended before I wanted it to.
And technically, I get a world from the bag, and maybe it'll be amazing.
It could be, but
Maybe
if you won't be able to build
one
it,
of the
well,
ones I wanted. No, oh, it's another rare.
And for me, the only thing that's going to get me points, I think, because money isn't points at the end, I guess it's that. That's it.
Yep.
So there, boom. That's the end of the game. Reason is because that. So now we go into final scoring. Final scoring is basically just doing everything that's on your board.
Yeah.
Just making sure here. So the chips that you've gained, the points shown on those, and then the 9-point Empire ones. And then now is where we bust out the extra chips as you need. So, I mean, Joe, I don't think we need to do this one at a time.
No.
But
totting up. and
here,
that's what I'm
I'll
doing.
just do mine up here. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. So 9 for that. This doesn't go 9, 12, 13, 22. We'll skip it. 23, 24, 25. There. So that's 5 and 25. So the ones that we haven't counted now are this one and this one. So this is 2 per rebel title that you see. So none there. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 6 more. There and there. And then this one is 1 per military. Not temporary or specialized. That would be specialized, so we don't get to count that. So that's going to be 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. So that'll be another 10. And at least that was somewhat respectable. So I'm finishing at 30, 44. There we go. So 44 for me.
46, which is not enough, I think.
No, 44 is what I have.
Really?
Really?
The two
Unless
nines.
That's the closest I've ever come.
Yeah, unless I've missed something.
I'll take
I've got
that.
44, I think.
Really?
Surprising.
With 3 9-pointers?
Yeah, well, I mean, 2 of them only scored 6. So this one, I got 2 per uplift planet and 1 for every other planet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and scoring it again for 6. This one, similarly, 2 per rebel planet.
And this one.
Does that count?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if that counts, then
that absolutely
that's
counts.
another 1 for that, and another. But is it a tile? So it probably doesn't count on that one. So that just gives me 1 on that. So that just pops me up to 45. This one is 2 for rebel, 1 per Imperium tile. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6.
7.
But is that a tile? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
that
Okay.
counts. There's a reason it's there. 7.
Okay.
Plus that is 8.
Oh, and that, of course, is itself 1. I had rather foolishly missed. Okay, so I'm up to 47 now.
Which is good enough to win.
Yep.
Good
So
enough.
there you go. All right.
But
yeah.
very tight. Woof, that was tight.
Yeah. So
Good job I finished it when I did.
the way I see it is that's the most respectable I've ever, like, legitimately. I was just trying to not embarrass myself, and I think I did all right
certainly
there.
succeeded.
So that works. There you go. So that's New Frontiers. Now, one thing that we did not show in tonight's playthrough were the goals. I know a lot of people play with these, but we're probably going to stream this again in the future, and when we do, we'll include the goals, which basically just add more endgame scoring that is chosen by the player that chooses a certain action. So there's that. And then there are, like I said, there are flip sides on those. And then these are double-sided as well, and those are just basically random, depending on how that goes. So there you go. So thanks for doing this, and that was fun.
Yep.
Let's face it, we all like race and the whole race family of games. So this is more of that. So if you enjoy Race for the Galaxy, but this is a little bit more approachable, I think, and a little bit easier to learn than Race for the
Yeah.
Galaxy.
Yeah, I
the
think-
learning
so,
curve
yes.
is lower on this than it is for the
For
actual
sure.
card game. Takes longer to play, but it's more a board game experience as opposed to the card game, which is what Race is, right? So there you go. Thanks again to everybody over at Rio Grande for sponsoring the stream. Thanks to all y'all for watching. Thanks to y'all for doing this tonight. Certainly appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Jess and I will probably stream something this weekend. Tuesday we have Voidfall from Mind Clash and other stuff next week. So looking forward to that. So be sure to tune in and watch for those. Otherwise, I'm Edward.
Shrey.
I'm Martin.
All right. Y'all have a great night. Take care, everybody. Thanks, y'all.
I didn't tell everybody to send in the genetic sequence for their thumbs so that we could grow more thumbs here and enjoy the thumbs.
Good thing they didn't hear that.